But he gets the job done in so many other ways. Leads off for the Angels. Bobby Abreu with just one home run this year. Plays right field, bats second. Vladimir Guerrero's back. Good to see for Angel fans. And then they've got some good players in this lineup, including Torrey Hunter, who bats fourth and plays in center field. And so the Angels, perhaps surprisingly, second place in the American League West.
They really play an interesting brand of baseball, I think. Cito Gaston was talking about it before the game with Mike Scioscia as their manager. A lot like National League baseball. Bunting, hitting and running, moving runners. The type of baseball that you'll see in the National League because there's no DH.
Here's a key member of their offense. Sean Figgins. Very quick of foot. Takes the ball down from Halliday, 1-1.
Well, note the on-base percentage for Figgins as he steps into the box. It's at .378. What he wants to do when he is in that batter's box is just try and hit the ball hard somewhere.
Sawed that one off, dumps it into left field, and Figgins has a base hit. Quickly turns for second, but thinks otherwise.
Let's take a look at the defense that will line up for Roy Halliday tonight. This is the lineup that Cito has run out there all season long versus a left-handed starter. Bautista, Wells, and Rios in the outfield. Millar and Hill on the right side. Scudero and Roland between them, just 5 errors this season on the left side, and Rob Barajas gets to do the catching tonight.
Well, Bobby Abreu bats second for the Angels. And for a man who is so accustomed to hitting 20 home runs, it's very hard to explain why he has only one this year.
Maybe hitting second in this lineup is a little different as Figgins takes off.
And they got him. Thrown out trying to steal second. Barajas right on target.
Again, they aren't going to be nailed down to first base if they get down there. Rod has had a good year so far throwing out would-be base stealers. Sean Figgins came into this game 20 for 23 in stolen bases, and this is no contest. Halliday gets rid of the ball quickly. Barajas a little bit quicker, and they get Figgins right at second base. Good job by Marco picking that ball out of the dirt.
And the great thing about Angels baseball is they'll do it all over again if Figgins gets on his next time up. Not afraid to run are the Angels, that's for sure.
Well, they got to figure with Halliday on the mound that their scoring opportunities are not going to be very big. That they've got to make something happen. That looked like it was a straight steal with Abreu on the first pitch.
Halliday gets him 0-2. Here's the pitch on the ground for Millar at first. And so Abreu's gone for the second out. They must be happy to have Vladimir Guerrero back in the lineup. Guerrero has missed a whole bunch of games, 35 in fact this year, with a right pectoral tear. He was activated on the 25th of May.
Just 57 at-bats for Vlad coming into this game, 1 home run. And when you have anything wrong with your hands or your arms, elbows, shoulders, whatever, as a hitter, that's where your power is going to be zapped from, right there. Guerrero still has that good bat speed, but it's taken him a while to get a little timing back from coming off the disabled list.
Halliday with a 1-strike pitch, and it's off the plate for ball 1. And Guerrero provides that intimidating factor. We talked about this with the Red Sox in town. They just look different without Manny Ramirez. And the Angels look a whole lot different without this guy in the lineup as he pounds that one off the plate. Halliday covers and gets the out. So it's a 1-2-3 after the single by Figgins. 9 pitches, all Halliday requires here in the first inning. Tonight, so Cito Gaston puts in his customary lineup for such a ball game with Marco Scutaro, Aaron Hill at the top. Rios and Wells go 3 and 4. Adam Lynn, the DH, the lone left-hander in that lineup with Roland, Millar, Barajas, and Bautista rounding out for the Blue Jays. Scutaro has hit safely in 8 consecutive, 7 of them multi-hit games. And they'll be facing Joe Saunders, who's had a very good year so far.
Yeah, he really has. He makes his 11th start of the season, and he's coming off an outing in which he threw a decent game. Pitched into the 7th inning against the White Sox, who were scoring a ton of runs in that series. Gave up just 3 runs, but only has his 3rd loss of the season to show for it. Angels had trouble scoring for him. Here's the scouting report for the left-hander. He's cool and calm out there. His demeanor is very confident. When he's right, he's got a lot of ground ball outs, and he really pitches to contact. You're not going to see a whole lot of strikeouts when Saunders is on the mound, just 33 of them in 66 innings this year.
First man up, Marco Scutaro. 1 ball and no strikes. The kick from Saunders and a swing and a miss. So Marco enjoying, as mentioned, an 8-game hit streak. 7 straight with at least 2 hits. He's hitting almost 500 in that respect. I think about the last 3 of them have been infield singles.
Yeah, he's had a few of those, balls right off the top of the plate, balls that are placed perfectly. And if you're wondering about the Blue Jay record for most consecutive multi-hit games, you have to go back to 1986. Tony Fernandez has 9, or had 9.
Here's Marco lining to right field, but there is Abreu to put him away.
Here's the defense for Joe Saunders, and they're going to be busy when he is on the mound and if he's working. Matthews, Hunter, and Abreu, a very good outfield. They can all run and throw. The left side is good, and Figgins and Asturas. And they'll have to be busy and good tonight with Saunders on the mound. Kendrick and Morales and Mike Napoli, the starter behind the plate tonight. He's a lot like Halliday. That he doesn't throw as hard as Halliday, but he's got good movement on his pitches. He keeps it down, and you'll see a lot of ground ball outs.
Here's the number 2 hitter, Aaron Hill, who had a 13-game hit streak end on Sunday. Hill swings at that one, 1-1. And Saunders can make a claim that no other pitcher in the American League can. He's the only man this year to defeat Zach Greinke. Beat him on the 9th of May in Los Angeles with his first career complete game. Shutout as he gets Hill to pop up over near first. Morales in foul territory puts it away, and Hill's gone.
Well, he had to throw a shutout.
Yeah, I would think so.
Greinke only gave up 1 run. If he's going to win again here tonight, he might have to do the same thing against Roy.
Quickly 2 down here. Alex Rios steps in. And perhaps this is a good sign. Alex had 4 extra base hits in the 3-game series against Boston with 3 RBIs. All year long, Pat, we've been hearing he's a mechanical mess. Perhaps now he's starting to come out of that a little bit.
Yeah, he seems a little bit more fluid, doesn't he, through the ball?
He grounds this one backhanded by the shortstop Saunders, who rolls it over to first and gets it in time to get Rios. So 1-2-3 for Saunders. 1 inning complete. We'll be back right after this. This broadcast for your chance to win a 52-inch Sharp Aquis LCD TV. Here's how you do it. Go to sportsnet.ca/baseball game and launch it right now. This one moving briskly as we move into the second inning. Roy Halladay working against the number 4 hitter for the Angels, Torrey Hunter, who's having a good year. 12 home runs, 42 RBIs. Really, for a team that does not hit the home run with frequency. In fact, the Angels are the only team in the American League that scores less than a quarter of their runs with the home run.
Big difference from the team that we saw last year for the Los Angeles Angels. Mark Teixeira was manning first base. Big power hitting first baseman. I believe Napoli hit 20 home runs last year for him. Hunter, Guerrero was healthy, so there's really nothing wrong with their hitting. It's been the problems that they have had with their pitching staff.
Here's the 1-2, and it's off the plate, especially their bullpen. Their bullpen lately has been atrocious.
It's a crazy number when you take a look at it. Their ERA for their starters tied for first in the American League. The ERA for the relievers last in the American League.
They hope Saunders goes a little while. Well, Roy Halladay makes quick work of Torrey Hunter and gets him swinging.
You know what? That is so nasty when you get ahead and then you've got this late breaking ball right there. No chance for Torrey Hunter. You've got to keep the ball away from him because he does have that power. Great pitch right there from Halliday.
There is first baseman Kendry Morales. And Halliday, though he is 8-1, could so easily be 10-1 right now after no decisions in his last 2 outings. If you caught the disaster on Sportsnet on Wednesday in Baltimore, you saw him hand a 5-run lead to the bullpen. They couldn't make it stick.
Well, he's on one of those Roy Halladay rolls that we have seen over the last few years. He's allowed less than 2 earned runs in 4 of his last 5 outings. I mean, that's ridiculous. He usually goes deep into the game, usually 7, 8, 9 innings. 2 runs or less in 4 of the last 5. The only time he didn't was that last outing you were just talking about when he gave up 3 in 7 innings.
Two balls and 1 strike, and it's fouled away by Morales, who singled in the bottom of the 9th on Sunday, helped the Angels avoid getting swept by the Seattle Mariners.
That was a huge comeback that you were just talking about. 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th. They were down by 7 runs in that game against Seattle. Biggest comeback since July 15th, 1996, when they were at Texas. Mike Scioscia was talking a little bit about that game. Said they really had some good at-bats in the 9th inning. And I guess you have to when you come back from so far like that to win a ball game. They are hoping that that momentum carries on this trip.
Halliday gets him to wave. Strikeout number 2 here in the second inning. Like Hunter, he goes down on a curveball.
Well, I don't think you can pitch any better than what Roy Halladay has done since 2002. The most wins out of any starter in all of baseball. That winning percentage just crazy good.
Meiser Asturias is the shortstop. Asturias chops it over the head of Halliday. Scudero has it, throws him out. Another quick inning for Doc. 1, 2, 3 go the Angels. Vernon Wells leads off when we return. Day at your local Tim Hortons. Every coffee you buy will help store owners send deserving kids to camp. So please, tomorrow, make a point of coming down to your local Tim Hortons to celebrate Camp Day.
And you don't have to do it just one time. You can keep going back.
That's
get one
true.
In the morning, get one in the afternoon. I'll be there first thing in the morning.
If you're Pat Tabler, you might go 8 times.
Yes, you know me. That's a great promotion.
It certainly is. Good for Tim Hortons to step up to the plate, as Vernon Wells does against lefty Joe Saunders. Vernon falling behind 0-2 here. His average is up lately, hitting .318 over his last 11 games. But the power is down. His last home run came against the Angels. That was May the 6th. And that ball stabbed by Saunders. He throws out Wells for the first out.
Well, you better be ready to expand the strike zone when you get 2 strikes against Joe Saunders, because he's going to nibble on you. He's going to try and sink it away if you're a right-hander. Keep everything away, back you off the plate. Left-hander is hitting .215 against Saunders this year.
Adam Lind, the designated hitter, who has 38 runs driven in to lead this club. Saunders last season, as you mentioned, made the All-Star team, got off to a great start at 6-0 and finished 17-7. Really propelled himself into one of the elite pitchers in this league. That's hammered foul by Lind.
He set career highs in all those major categories that you were talking about: wins and ERA, innings pitched, just about everything. He got to pitch into the All-Star game. Pitched in one of the 15 innings last year. You remember?
They needed all those pitchers. Lind's coming off a weekend in which he hit his 8th home run. That was in Saturday's victory against the Red Sox. He skies this one high and deep to left field, sending Matthews Jr. to the wall, and he's at the track making the catch. Adam Lind has power to the opposite field, and he showed it there.
Well, I thought he got enough of it to get it just over the wall. That has been a problem for Saunders this year. He's given up 9 home runs. Lind looked like he had one of those typical Adam Lind type of spray the ball the other way and just get it over the fence. Just seemed to die out there, though.
Saunders facing Scott Rowland, who swings and misses and goes down on 3 pitches. The lefty has retired 6 straight. We're through 2 innings in Toronto. June 9th, and you can receive Blue Jay draft alerts on your mobile phone. Sign up now to receive text alerts on the first 5 picks the Blue Jays make. To do so, text the word draft, D-R-A-F-T, to the short code 707070. Standard message rates apply. The Blue Jays' first pick comes with the 20th overall choice. Last year they had the 17th choice and picked up first baseman David Cooper from the University of California.
It's a big draft, I think, for the Blue Jays. I believe they have 7 of the first 105, something like that.
They've got a lot bunched up in the first few rounds.
Yes, so all the cross-checkers are here in town, and the scouts, and they're going over their list, and it's going to be a big day, I think, for the Jays in a couple of weeks.
This one's chopped back to Halliday, and Napoli is easily thrown out. And the Major League draft is always so interesting because, unlike, say, the NFL draft, teams don't necessarily draft for position. They take the best available.
And you don't know for 4 or 5 years, if your draft has worked out or not. You really don't. They go down to the minor leagues, and you might see the kid 4 or 5, 6 years later, and then you say, oh, yeah, remember that draft back in 2003? It was a successful draft.
Right. One away in the 3rd inning. Gary Matthews Jr. now hitting 8th for the Angels. I don't think there's any question who Washington is going to take with the first overall pick. That kid from San Diego State has drawn a ton of publicity. Steven Strasburg.
Strasburg, right. The best pitcher that scouts are saying that they have ever seen.
They say he could be in the big leagues by, who knows, July?
With that team, I think that's a good chance.
That's true. Roy Halliday taking 17th overall in 1995. Aren't the Jays glad they selected him? And he gets a strikeout again. This time Matthews Jr. waves at a curveball. All 3 tonight have come thanks to that hook.
But you can always see with Halliday if he's got his A stuff when he's got that curveball working and the opposition is fooled by it. 3 times now they have gone down via a strikeout off of that curveball. And it certainly does look like he's got his A stuff here tonight.
And he starts Kendrick with a sinker for strike 1. He chops this one to Millar. He's got time to go to the bag himself and does so. That helps Halliday get yet another 1, 2, 3. What a pitcher's duel we've got going here. Coming to the game on June the 23rd, it's the final edition of Messin' with the Recession. Presented by the Toronto Star, the Cincinnati Reds will be here. Value pricing on tickets, so reduced cost on the tickets. $1 hot dogs, a $4 souvenir baseball. Call the ticket office now, 416-341-1234. And you can visit your local Rogers Plus to pick up tickets as well. Moving right along here at Rogers Center, it's the Angels and the Blue Jays. Jamie Campbell is with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino as Kevin Millar faces the left-hander Joe Saunders. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Millar's last hit was a 2-run single during that 6-run fourth inning in Baltimore Wednesday, the last time Halliday started a game. He chops that foul, a ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, this is the guy you want up there, I think, Kevin Millar, when Joe Saunders is on the mound, especially with the guys on base. You see the numbers, 500 with a couple of home runs.
Breaks it away, 2-2, and we know that the Blue Jays as a team are hitting over 300 against left-handers, but that didn't do them a whole lot of good on Sunday against John Lester.
Yeah, the average came down to 301 after what we saw on Sunday from Lester. 12 punch outs. He had all of his pitches working.
This is hit weakly to Kendrick at second, and Millar is thrown out 4-3.
Yeah, nothing you can do when a pitcher is hot like that. You know, good cutter, good curveball, good changeup, hard fastball. Saunders a little bit different from Lester. He doesn't have the power fastball that we saw on Sunday, but he moves it around. That last pitch for 2 strikes to Kevin Millar was very good. That was that very defensive swing by Kevin to try and put it in play.
There's a big cut from Rod Barajas. You know, every big leaguer says they always remember their major league debut, so Saunders will remember his. It came against the Jays in LA in August of 2005. He went 7 1/3, ended up with a no decision. He was optioned down to AAA soon after, and then came up for good with the Angels in September of that year. One and 1 to Barajas. Base hit. The Blue Jays have their first after Saunders had retired 7 straight.
And I think that's how the right-handed hitters have got to approach Joe Saunders. Look for the ball away so you can cover that outside part of the plate. Barajas does that. He stays up over that ball, gets enough of it, and hits it hard into right field. Watch, he's not leaking out on that. He's not over committing himself to try and pull the ball. He stays right with it and picks up the base hit.
He'll be happy with that. Just 1 hit and 9 at bats in the 3-game series against Boston. So Barajas is on. Jose Bautista is 0 for his last 9. He struck out twice facing Lester on Sunday. Average down to 269. 1 ball and no strikes. Bautista sends this one towards center field, and that ball is headed for the scoreboard. Barajas heading around third, and Bautista stretches for third. Barajas scores. The Jays are up 1-0. Bautista has a triple. What a way to break out of an 0 for 9.
Same type of approach that we saw from Rod Barajas. Stay on the ball, track it, let it get deep because it's going to be away, and then hit it into right center field. Good job there by Bautista, and we have seen now twice in the last week Rod Barajas score from first base on a base hit. Bautista, he's taking a quick look, seeing if Barajas gets sent, and then he makes it easily with his first triple of the season.
Has anybody had to do more running in the last week and a half than Rod Barajas?
No.
Is anyone suited to do more running than Rod Barajas in the last week and a half? And so the infield now comes in for Marcos Scutaro. Boy, what does this tell you? The Angels aren't that confident about scoring runs against Halliday?
Yeah, they know who's on the mound for Toronto. 1 out. I don't know if the Blue Jays are going to play contact here. I kind of figure they're not, because Bautista's not getting a very aggressive lead over at third base. They're probably going to let it get through there. Make the ball go through. And I think that's the right thing to do, simply because if Marco Scutaro pops up, grounds out, whatever, and doesn't score that run, you still have Aaron Hill, one of their better hitters, on deck. You don't want to be running into an out.
2-1 on Scutaro. And if you're looking for a single, here's your man. 8 straight games, 7 consecutive with at least 2 hits. He's been a hitting machine the last little while. Dealing with a drawn-in infield here against the Angels. Here's the 2-1 pitch outside. 3 balls and 1 strike, and we present a Fast Fact brought to you by Rogers, Canada's fastest mobile network. 3 times faster, in fact, than any other. He leads the American League by reaching base by way of the hit, the walk, or the hit by pitch 102 times this season.
And only one player has reached base more than Scutaro.
There's Asturias drawn in, and he throws out Scutaro.
That one player is Albert Pujols, some select company. The Jays do not play contact, and you're right. Bautista stays at third, making that ball get through. Ball's hit hard, but right at it. Very good fielding. Asturias at shortstop looks the runner back. No place for Bautista to go. He would have run right into an out.
So the infield moves back into normal depth. For number 2 hitter Aaron Hill, who lines it sharply into left, but foul. Nothing surprising there from Hill, who has shown a penchant all year for jumping on the first pitch.
You talked about his 13-game hit streak. He's only scored 3 runs in his last 13 games, and he's only driven in 4. A chance here to pick up a big run, I think.
Up high from Saunders, 2-1. Ground ball taken by Kendrick on the backhand, and he throws out Hill, so Bautista's left stranded, but the Blue Jays get a run on 2 hits and lead the Angels. Zone, and that's where we find the band Alexis on Fire from St. Catharines, Ontario. They've got a new album coming out in June entitled Old Crows, Young Cardinals. Their 3 previous albums went platinum. So we welcome Alexis on Fire to Rogers Center tonight to watch the Angels and the Blue Jays. Halliday's club leads it 1-0. Roy goes to work on Sean Figgins, the only man with an Angel uniform on to get a hit against him tonight. He singled to left field and then was thrown out trying to steal second. 1-1. Sean hit poorly in April, just .244. Hit very well in May at .333. Looks at a breaking ball for strike 2. He altered his approach a little bit this past month, where he just decided, I'm going to start swinging at what the pitcher throws me. If it's inside, I'll turn on it. If it's outside, I'll go with it.
You can't guide the ball. Wow.
Look at the run on that fastball from Roy Halliday as he picks up his 4th strikeout.
You know, when you are up here in the 4th deck and you can see this type of movement that freezes a good hitter and a hot hitter. You just mentioned how hot he was in the month of May. You know that Halliday's got his good stuff. That was a tremendous pitch there.
One down for Bobby Abreu. And Pat, the effectiveness of that pitch when you're a left-handed batter is that it starts out looking like it's going to hit you in the hip.
And you give up on it, and the next thing you know, you're walking back to the dugout with your baseball bat. Greg Maddux really made that a very big pitch, I think. He'd get those left-handed batters kind of leaning out over the plate, and Maddux doesn't throw very hard, but he had that ability to paint and then move that ball around. How many times did you see those lefties give up on it and strike out?
And now he's headed for the Hall of Fame at some point very, very soon. Now Halliday, who's got a 1-2 count here on Abreu, has drawn 2 very interested spectators here tonight. Here's the 2-strike pitch down. Mark Gubicza, who does some analysis for the Angels broadcast, was saying that both John Lackey and Jared Weaver can't wait to get a Toronto series underway so they can watch Halliday work. And when the opposing starting pitchers are saying that, that's hefty praise. Look at that. There he goes again. He strikes out Abreu. Back-to-back Ks for Halliday here in the 4th inning.
Well, those are the 2 pitchers that the Blue Jays are going to see in the next 2 games here. And what they see right there is paintage. Abreu gives up on it. But that is pinpoint control right on the outer half for strikeout number 5 for Roy Halliday. It's too bad some of those pitchers that you talk about, they watch him during the game. They don't have a chance to see his preparation work the 4 days before a start. I mean, that's the essence of Roy Halliday, the film work, the side work, the running, you know, the exercising, the lifting of the weights and all the other things that go into today's start.
Guerrero doesn't chase on that one in the dirt. 1-1. That's into the elbows, and Guerrero had to hold up a little bit. So it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Now 3-1.
I've watched Roy Halliday now for I don't know how many years, and you know, I put my my thoughts into the hitter. Say, okay, is there anything that Halliday does to maybe tip his pitches? And I watch him, and I watch how he gets himself prepared, and how there is nothing in his windup and the way that he goes about his work here that shows me anything that he might be tipping his pitches. So I can't sit on any one pitch. I can't sit on any location because he moves it around. A lot of times you'll see pitchers, for a breaking ball, they might bring their hands up a little bit higher, or for a fastball a little bit lower, something. But I've never been able to find anything on Roy Halliday, and that's no fun if you're a hitter. you don't know what to look for or where.
Popped into center field. In comes Wells. An easy play for Vernon. And an easy inning. 2 strikeouts and a fly out. What a 4th inning for Halliday. He is cruising right now. Jay's Shop, which is in the Eaton Center at Yonge and Dundas from noon till 1. Adam Lynn will be there signing for fans. More information can be found at jshop.ca. And then the celebration here Friday night of the 20th birthday of this building. Members of the '89 team are going to be here, and here's where they'll be stationed to sign for you. A lot of players to choose from. Many of them had an impact not only on the '89 but the '91 and '92 teams.
That's a super flashback Friday.
No question.
Wardo, Hankey,
Tony Fernandez, Kelly Gruber, Jesse Barfield will be here. Rance Mullenix as well. He'll be up in the booth, and then he'll take some time to head down to the field. So make sure you grab your baseball or some old baseball cards and bring them on down to Rogers Center for Friday night's game against the Kansas City Royals. 1-0 Toronto in this one. And here is Alex Rios with a bomb to left field, and you can kiss that one goodbye.
We were talking in his first at bat that he seems to be getting through balls a little bit smoother. The ball is jumping off of his bat in the last series. He stays back and just powers this ball. This is all upper body from Rios, and look where it lands. Home run number 7. His second in 3 games.
Appropriately, we have a band entitled Alexis on Fire in the TD Canada Trust Comfort Zone. Alexis Rios, look out. Bombs on back-to-back games.
Did they get their name from Rios?
I don't think
Staying
so.
hot?
We'll find out from our music historian Scott Carson as to how that name came about. So another solo shot, and this one a whole lot meaningful, or more meaningful than the last one. The Blue Jays were trailing 8-1 when Rios hit his home run on Sunday. There's the band, and there's the man with a hot bat. Little roller out toward first. Morales races to the bag. 3 unassisted for the first out here in the 4th inning. We'd like to send our best wishes tonight to Jack Koffel, who's watching in London, Ontario. Jack celebrated his 85th birthday yesterday.
Hey, we'd also like to throw congratulations to Melissa and Jason on your upcoming wedding. That is from all your fellow associates at work and all of us here at Rogers Sportsnet.
Very good. Everybody's celebrating right now if you're a Blue Jays fan with a 2-0 lead. Adam Lind, the DH, 0 for 1. He flied out to left field. Grounds that one toward Kendrick, who picks it up and throws him out for the second out. You know, the Jays haven't seen Saunders in quite a while. This is the first time he's faced them this year. They played 2 down in LA in early May and did not face them at all last year.
He's had 4 career starts versus the Blue Jays. He's got a losing record against them, but his ERA is good at 3.62. Been a little bit of a hot streak for Joe Saunders. There was a start earlier this year where he gave up 7 runs and 8 hits in just 5 1/3 innings versus Texas back on May the 15th. But since then, he's given up just 3 earned runs over his last 2 starts.
This one hit toward the gap by Rolen, and he heads for second. Abreu picks it up. Rolen has a 2-out double, and that's become his game lately. Rolen had 12 doubles in May. He's got his first in June.
This is a lot like Bautista's at bat and Rob Barajas at bat from a right-hander right over the second baseman, Howie Kendrick, and all the way against the wall. Good to see some extra base hits now from the Jays. They've had 4 hits, a single, double, triple, and a homer. They've hit for the cycle already.
Let's see if Kevin Millar can get one with 2 out here. And Rolen at second base. Nicely squared by Napoli, the catcher. 0-1 on Millar. Saunders sets at the belt. Here's the pitch, and that's over the heart of the plate. So Kevin's in an 0-2 hole.
There's your fastball inside. You can guess with him now and think that he might go soft away here. Told you Millar is their best hitter career-wise versus Saunders.
This one hit toward left field and dropping quickly. A base hit for Millar. Rolen is in, and it's 3-0 Blue Jays. A 2-out knock for Kevin Millar.
Stats don't lie, do they? A .500 hitter in his career versus Joe Saunders. 1 for 2 now. Change up down and away. He indeed went soft away after that fastball on the inner half, and Millar pounds it in the left field for the RBI single. 2-out lightning. I like to see those 2-out hits.
The Jays are giving Roy Halliday some runs to work with here. Barajas got it started. His single was the first hit allowed by Saunders in the 3rd. And then he had to run what seemed like the equivalent of a marathon around the bags as Bautista tripled right behind him. He yanks this one high and deep to left and well out of play. That just missed the 5th level by about 10 feet.
That looked like a Joe Carter strike.
Yeah, it did.
He used to yank balls like that into the 5th deck down the left field line all the time.
The 0-2, and that's fouled away. We haven't seen a 5th deck home run here in a while. I know Joe hit one up there. I know Jose Canseco has hit one up there.
trying to remember the last time we saw one of those.
It's been a while. Nothing in 2. Popped up past second. Kendrick backs off. And that's out number 3. The Blue Jays pick up 2. By way of a home run, Rios tags his 7th, and then Millar with a 2-out single. 3-0 Toronto. To begin the 5th inning in the first game of a 3-game set between the Angels and the Blue Jays. This is Jamie Campbell with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino. 3-0 Toronto. A single and a triple in the 3rd scored their first run. Rios homers, and Millar drives home Roland for the 2 in the 4th inning, and the Blue Jays give a 3-0 lead to Roy Halliday, who works against Torrey Hunter, Kendry Morales, and Meiser Izturis here in the 5th.
You did Halliday's last start, didn't you, down in Baltimore?
Yes, I did.
Doesn't this look like that start where he threw a lot of first pitch strikes and
absolutely
just pounded the strike zone?
And then he started to battle it a little bit and was lifted after 7 innings and 102 pitches.
Yeah, just 102 pitches. And that day he threw 75% strikes. Today he's only thrown 47 pitches and only 14 balls. This is a lot like that start.
Very typical. And you get the sense, talking to Cito Gaston, that he doesn't want to see Halliday pitch the 9 complete games he did last year if it's not necessary. He wants to ensure that Halliday is well rested. There's another strikeout. Rack him up for Roy. He's got 6 so far.
Well, all you have to do is just watch. And you better go swinging that bat when you get up there. Anything borderline, because he's got his good control. That is right at the bottom of the strike zone, right on the inner half, is going to be called a strike. So you better go up there swinging. He's going to be around the plate. He's going to be pumping those strikes in there. So just let it go. No chance to kind of work the pitcher tonight.
Let's take it downstairs and bring in Sam Cosentino.
Well, Jamie, it seems as if everyone ups their intensity level when Roy Halladay's pitching. And I asked Cito Gaston who else did it remind him of when he was out there. And he mentioned guys like Dave Cone and Dave Stewart and Jack Morris. And those 4 guys really seem to have something in common in the fact that when they up their intensity, it seems everyone else around them does, whether it's in the field or at the plate.
It's a great point. And, of course, the way Halliday works so quickly, it keeps everybody involved.
I think it's just human nature also. You get out there, the guy's pumping strikes in there. You know he's your horse. He's your number 1 guy. You want to play well for him. And when he makes pitches like that, you know, it's easy, you know.
Cito's point before the game was that he seems to be happy with Doc getting 7 or 8 innings and about 110 pitches. And when asked about Wednesday's debacle in Baltimore, he said, quote, "What happened in Baltimore just won't happen very often." And that is hand the bullpen a 5-run lead and it vanishes. There's that sinker that runs in but misses for ball 3. So it's a full count here to the first baseman, Kendry Morales.
Time to go right back in there. Throw the same pitch.
Line to left field. In comes Bautista. Out goes Morales, 2 gone. So here's Halliday with 2 out in the 5th inning. He's faced the minimum number of hitters. The only hit allowed was Figgins to lead off the ball game, but Figgins was thrown out trying to steal. He's retired everybody since.
Economical on the pitch count, getting everybody involved. 6 strikeouts. You see the fly ball outs and the ground ball outs. So yeah, he's getting everybody a chance to handle the ball.
Storis grounded out.
He had a streak in the middle of this. You know, he's made 10 starts here, where he had 119, 117 pitches in those 3 starts. I think Cito said, you know what, that's a little bit too much early in the season. Let's kind of kick that down a little bit, to your point where they're going to kind of protect him a little bit more. Every 5th day, he's going to get the start. Cito said that. Our pitching staff evolves around Roy Halliday, so he's not going to miss a start. They're not going to skip him or anything like that. So the next best thing that he can do is kind of protect him a little bit and keep him in that 110, 112 pitch range. And
that's why with an off day yesterday and one this past Thursday, you saw Scott Richmond squeezed from the rotation. 3-0. Here's a rare count, but he comes back with a strike. We certainly haven't seen him fall behind hitters that often tonight like he has Storis here. And so on 3-1, he gets a swing and a base hit to right field. So the Angels get their first hit since the leadoff man in this ball game.
Solid hit there. You know, you would hate for him to get into the 9th inning with the only hit given up was that shattered bat placed right over rolling base hit. This is a clean base hit. 3-1. He gets himself into a fastball count. And with that 3-0 lead, Halliday's got to come in there. It just was elevate a little bit for Storis.
That brings back Mike Napoli. And that swing tells you something about Napoli. He can, when he connects, he can really hit it a long way. In fact, Napoli averages about a home run every 16 at bats. But Mike Scioscia, for the most part, has him splitting a lot of time behind the plate with Jeff Mathis, who is considered a better defensive catcher. Napoli hit a home run on Sunday against the Mariners that broke him out of a 1-for-25 slide. There's the 1-1 pitch. He's late on it, 1-2. .92 miles an hour from Doc with movement.
With movement away. Getting him off that hitter's plate.
Looking for another strikeout, and he gets it. Perfectly placed. Location. And Doc has struck out 7 Angels after 5 innings of work. Sportsnet, the Nutrilite Canadian Championship. Toronto FC against Vancouver from Swangard Stadium. You can catch that game tonight at 10:25 Eastern, 7:25 Pacific time. Greg Forrest joins Jerry Dobson for the call. That's coming up a little later on tonight here on Rogers Sportsnet. Here inside the Rogers Center, I'm Jamie Campbell with Pat Tabler and Sam Cosentino. The Blue Jays hold a 3-0 lead after 4.5 innings of play. Jose Bautista has contributed a triple and driven in the first run of the game. Saunders with the 3-0 count now on the number 9 hitter. Our statistician Scott Carson answered the question that we asked: who was the last man to go into the 5th tank in left field here at Rogers Center? And that was Vernon Wells, who hit one off Rodrigo Lopez of the Orioles at 04. So it has been a while.
Yeah. What is that? How many baseball seasons?
That's 6 years. 6 baseball seasons ago.
5, 6, 7, 8, 4.5. Right?
My math's off. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Where did you learn to count, big man?
I'm just. Oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Another Brewers rating down here on the strikeout of Bautista.
Not happy with that call. You be the judge here. Saunders fights back, and that is called a check swing. You see the home plate umpire signal that that ball was foul tipped, and Napoli caught it, but he said he was pulling it out of his glove right there. So you're out, Jose.
Sam, do you have a little more on this?
Well, that's it. There was just a little confusion. Napoli was quite confident, didn't really go after the ball in a way in which he was confident in which he caught the ball, and it was just on the transfer out. And so Bautista had to ask home plate umpire Jim Reynolds what the call was, although he didn't agree with it.
So there's one gone for Marco Scutaro, who pounds that one into the dirt. A short hop played beautifully by the third baseman Figgins, and he throws out Scutaro, who's now 0 for 3.
Mike Scioscia was talking about Sean Figgins the other day, his defense. Remember when Figgins came up, he was one of those jack-of-all-trades type of player. He could play some outfield, second base, third base. They moved him all over the diamond. But since he has settled in at third base, he says he's getting good jumps on the ball. He's become a very good third baseman. Just 5 errors this year. That's a good play right there to get Scutaro.
Breaking ball is called a strike against Aaron Hill, who's 0 for 2. On the ground, Figgins again. Goes across the diamond. And it's dropped by the first baseman, Morales. That should go as an error.
I don't think that ball hit the dirt. I think Kendry Morales was anticipating that ball hitting the dirt, and he kind of turned his glove over a little bit. We'll have to see again on the replay. Figgins has plenty of time. He goes down to one knee and makes the throw. And I think that's exactly what happened, that he was anticipating that ball to go into the dirt, and he just turned his glove over. So if there is an error, they'll probably give it to Kendry over at first base.
They actually gave it to Figgins at third.
Check the replay. That ball should have been caught. It did not hit the dirt.
Well, the official score here is going to charge Figgins with the error. Perhaps that gets changed later on. We'll advise you if it is. Either way, man at first, 2 out. Alex Rios with his 7th home run in this game. And in Pat Tabler vernacular, it was a no doubt about her.
Ball up in the strike zone. Saunders wanted that one away, and he got all of it right into the wheelhouse. Giving up 10 home runs now this year.
Boy, there's a tongue twister. As Hill draws a throw. Pat Tabler vernacular.
It's easy for you to say.
No, it wasn't actually. Here's the 27-year-old lefty from Springfield, Virginia, with an 0-2 count on Rios. He's got him for strike 3. Alex is punched out. That leaves Hill at first. 5 innings complete, and the Jays lead 3-0. Sportsnet, brought to you by MakeIt7.ca. Help bring a 7th NHL team to Canada. We've got a good one brewing here tonight in Toronto. And to this point, Roy Halliday is winning the pitcher's duel. He has struck out 7, allowed just 2 base hits, both singles, and works into the 6th inning here, facing the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Los Angeles. Gary Matthews Jr. first up. He struck out his first time up in the ball game. Paid attendance here tonight, 26,809. Halliday always seems to draw a few extra bodies. That's down and in on Matthews Jr. 1-1.
You know, it's so hard to keep that ball that we just saw Halliday throw into a left-hander fair. So hard to keep it fair because it's bearing in on you. You start to swing and you got to speed your bat up just so you don't get it off your thumb. How many times have we seen those left-handed batters just bang a couple of balls down the right field line, and next thing you know they're in a hole 0-2.
Or in many cases shatter the bat.
Yeah,
because Doc has just sawed them right off.
We'll get another piece of lumber.
Here comes the 2-2 inside. Strike 3 called. Boy, that sinker's working. He's got the curveball. He's got the cutter. He's got it all tonight.
He's got the Angels talking to themselves going back to the dugout. Couple of cutters in that he pulls foul, and you see Matthews trying to sell it to the home plate umpire by lifting his arms up like it was inside, but that's right there and he knows it. The last 5 strikeouts from Roy Halliday have all been by the take. They haven't swung through it.
And so you get that. Guys like Kendrick coming up and smiling after waving and missing at the first pitch that it's off the plate anyway.
Well, you got to guess the right pitch in the right location and then go up there and swing at it.
And now it's 0-2. And I know Halliday is so good, but you know, the scouting report on Kendrick these days is that you can get him out on breaking stuff.
Yep.
Quite easily, in fact.
If you can get him thinking in, I think you have to establish inside first and then throw something off the plate, and maybe his aggressiveness will take him out.
And he hits a breaking ball up the middle for a base hit. So we're not always to believe the scouting report then, Pat.
Well, that wasn't a good breaking ball. That was a tumbling breaking ball with 2 strikes that were right down the middle. And Halliday was trying to kick the ball, but then he had second thoughts. 0-2 right down the middle. He's thinking about it. He said, you know what? I've tried that before, and it doesn't work, and it doesn't feel good. You see where he wanted that one down and away. And it ended up kind of tumbling right over home plate.
Back comes Figgins, 1-0. We got a great look there at Kendrick at first with a big smile on his face, as if to say, I can't believe I got a base hit after falling behind 2 strikes on Halliday.
Two really bad swings, too.
– 2-0 on Figgins. Bobby Abreu on deck for the Angels. Roy has not been tested tonight. He gave up a hit to Figgins. Little chopper to left. 2 more singles have followed. Here's a blooper into left field.
He ran the base. He ran the bases.
Howie Kendrick forgot how many outs there were. My, oh my. A costly mistake there. You can't just give away outs to a team that has Roy Halladay pitching, and they just did. Remarkable job for people like Aaron Hill and Marco Scutaro trying to get them voted into the All-Star game. So keep doing it. BlueJays.com is where you go to vote for your favorite Blue Jay. Although Aaron has fallen a little below the pace, he's fallen behind Robinson Cano among second basemen. He still sits in 4th place in balloting right now with 388,000 votes. Scott Rowland's 5th among third basemen. Marco Scutaro 4th among shortstops. So your efforts are obviously working. And try to get some Jays into the All-Star game in St. Louis. Here's an 0-2 pitch from Saunders to Wells, who doesn't chase. And I might add, we would like to offer our congratulations to the Blue Jays head athletic trainer George Poulos, who will be going and working for the American League team at the All-Star game in July. George received that honor recently, one of 2 men to be athletic trainers for the American League side. So congratulations to George, as Wells swings and misses, and he's gone for the first out.
Did they change that error yet?
Yes, they did. And we have a lot of people at home who like to score as the game progresses. The error has been changed. Originally it was charged to the third baseman Figgins. You can now make it E3. So Kendry Morales, as you pointed out,
anticipating that ball in the dirt and just didn't get down there to make it, and it went right off of his glove. I think they saw all the replays that we were looking at in between the innings and changed it, which I think is the correct call.
1-1 on Adam Lind, who's 0 for 2. Saunders the pitch, and a wave and a miss.
He has had some good at-bats against left-handed starters this year. Hasn't been overpowered by him. His batting average against lefties have been very good this year. A lot of times you see young hitters come up and just get taken advantage of by left-handed pitchers, but Lind seems very comfortable spraying the ball all over the place against left-handed pitchers. Just missed a home run his first time up, I think. Just missed it.
He drops this one in left field. Lind has a base hit. And once again, he goes the other way in doing so. What a nice at bat here, Pat.
Yeah, he found himself in an 0-2 hole and then battled and got it back to 2-2, and then Saunders makes a mistake by elevating a ball. If you pull off of that, it's a ground ball to the second baseman. He stayed on that one, stayed with it. You can see how he really kind of inside out of that ball. Make sure he didn't overcommit with his front side, and he's rewarded with a base hit.
Scott Rowland doubled and scored in the 4th inning. And so he's now doubled 16 times this year. And Pat, as much as Rowland 6 years ago with the St. Louis Cardinals hit 34 home runs, I don't think the Blue Jays are expecting anything near those kind of totals. If he can continue to be a doubles type of hitter, I think they'd take that.
And he'll get his RBIs then. You know, the batting average is up over 300. You mentioned the doubles. Just 3 home runs for Scott. But if those doubles are with runners on and they can score, it's the same thing as hitting a home run. So you're right.
Bottom of the 6th inning, and the Blue Jays have 6 hits in the ball game. Angel pitchers have allowed 10 or more hits in 7 of their last 9 games. It's been a major problem for the Angels. The pitching has been so-so, good in a starting role, but the bullpen just isn't the same without Francisco Rodriguez.
Well, it's nice to have Rodriguez, but Fuentes has done a pretty decent job. He's only had 16 opportunities, and I believe he saved 13 of them. It's been the bridge that has really cost the Angels this year.
Lind breaks from first. Napoli the throw, and it is late. So Adams steals second. Here's statistical proof. The last 9 games, look at that ERA.
Opponent's batting average of 326. They've given up the home runs. That whip, that's walks plus hits divided by innings pitched. It's good if it's right around 1. 1.7 is really tough. That means there's just about 2 base runners per inning, and you're going to get a lot of runs scored with that.
Base hit, roll into left field, and now the ball gets away from Matthews Jr. and Lind scores with ease. Initially, Nick Leyva had held him at third. And so mistakes are really proving costly here for the Angels.
This does not look like an Angels team that is bred on good pitching and very good defense. 2 innings in a row now that we've seen an error to come back to cost them a run. Rolen stings this ball, and he hits it so hard, and Matthews is a very good fielder. Charges it quickly, but then boots it out in left field. Just the second error of the season for Gary Matthews Jr. Watch Nick Labor, third base coach. He's watching Matthews. He knows he's a good fielder out there, and he puts the stop sign up for Adam Lynn, but once he boots it, he scores easily. So we've seen the physical errors on defense the last 2 innings, and then we saw the mental error in the top of the inning by the Angels.
Howie Kendrick running on a fly ball to left, perhaps thinking there were 2 away. Yanked by Millar and foul. Here's hoping somebody down there has a glove. Oh, nice gesture there. Well done. Millar with an RBI single in the 4th inning. A 2-out base hit that cashed Rolen. Scott standing at second base, 0-2. And Rolen's moving. It's grounded foul, though. Boy, he had a great jump.
Yeah, he's one of the better runners, not by sheer speed, but by his instincts. He knows when to go. He knows where to get his leads. Watch, I mean, Saunders gives him one look, and as soon as he turns his head towards home plate, he picks up that he's a one-looker and probably would have made it.
Millar trying to build on a 4-0 lead here in the 6th inning. Saunders the pitch, and it's yanked to left field. That ball dropping in fair territory. Kevin's done it again as Rolen comes home, make it a 5-0 game.
RBI number 18 on the year for Millar in 92 at bats. Pretty good production. He comes up with a runner in scoring position. He has had his career numbers against Saunders go up with the 2 hits here tonight. This one down into the corner for extra bases.
Barajas is back. The Angels get somebody up in the bullpen. He goes fishing on the first one. The production tonight really coming from the bottom of the order. As you look at right-hander Rich Thompson. Rolen has 2 hits and an RBI. Millar has a pair of RBIs. Bautista, the number 9 hitter, has 1. There's a swing and a miss from Barajas, 0-2 on the catcher. He's 1 for 2, singling and scoring in the 3rd. As Napoli goes out to visit with Saunders, we'll wish a happy 80th birthday tonight to Betty Kozlowski, who's watching in Kitchener, Ontario. Betty rarely misses a Blue Jay broadcast, and she'll certainly enjoy what she's seeing here. 5-0 Toronto. As the Blue Jays here get to Saunders and get the Angels bullpen up and working. Roy Halliday has gone 6 innings and given up just 3 hits. He is not allowed a run, and he has struck out 8. In the dirt, it scoots away, and now Millar charging for third, and he is safe, sliding in. Good heads-up base running.
Yeah, we've talked about that a couple of times over the weekend against the Boston Red Sox. We saw the Red Sox and the Blue Jays do it to each other. If you are the runner and you see that ball going in the dirt, just take off. That ball doesn't even leave the dirt area. Right away, Millar, the veteran, reads it and gets just under the tag from Sean Figgins. Off the plate. So you can move up 90 feet even on a ball that doesn't leave that dirt area if you are heads up.
Infield is in. Golf to left field. Base hit. And Millar will cash. Make it a 6-0 lead. These are the Blue Jays we saw in the first 6 weeks of the season.
Picking up runners in scoring position. Being aggressive on the bases. And you know who really loves that heads-up base running by Kevin Millar? It's the batter, Rob Barajas. and makes a good hitter a very good hitter. When they have to bring in that infield with less than 2 outs and a runner on third base, you just become a salivating type of hitter, and he picks them up.
Well, and the Jays in the process chase Joe Saunders a 6-0 lead as the Angels make a pitching change. Watch Cito Gaston's post-game press conference live exclusively at BlueJays.com. So get the inside scoop on all of tonight's moves from the skipper himself by logging on to BlueJays.com after this game is over. He hasn't had to make many changes. He just sits back and enjoys what he's seeing tonight. A 6-0 lead for his team as the Jays get into the Angels bullpen. Here's Australian Rich Thompson.
Been up a couple of times here with the Angels with the problems that they've had in their bullpen. He was just recalled from Salt Lake, which is the AAA affiliate of the Los Angeles Angels, on May the 27th. They had just sent him down 2 days earlier. Got a good fastball, mid-90s fastball, and a little bit of a slider.
Jose Bautista is the batter. Just one away here in the 6th inning. Rod Barajas, with his base hit to left field, scores Millar for the 3rd run of the inning. And it is the hit that chases Joe Saunders. The Jays with 6 runs on 9 hits. And they have taken advantage of some Angel lapses tonight, too. Bautista with a 3rd inning triple, broken 0 for 9. There's the 2-1 pitch, a fastball fouled away.
Angels have come up with some pitchers the last few years with some pretty good arms. Kevin Jepson comes to mind. Thompson looks like he's got a good arm. Another kid, Rafael Rodriguez, they have in the bullpen's got a good arm.
They could use a few in that bullpen because Scott Shields is missing, and he might be the key to their bullpen.
I certainly think it is. That Shields is the key to their bullpen. He hurt his knee in spring training and just wasn't right and was getting shelled, just couldn't push off from that back leg. They finally put him on the disabled list, and everybody has had to move up in that bullpen.
Let's bring in Sam Cosentino once again.
Well, guys, just to add to your conversation for Blue Jays fans, Kelvin Escobar made a AAA start, went 5 innings, allowed 4 earned runs for Salt Lake AAA of Anaheim yesterday. He is expected to be recalled, pitch a bullpen here at the Rogers Center tomorrow, and then maybe make a start for LA if all goes well on Saturday. So that may also impact what happens in the bullpen if a starter gets moved down as Escobar is called up.
This one popped into right field and it drifts out of play. Escobar hasn't pitched in the major leagues since pitching against the Red Sox in the 07 division series. It's been a long, long time.
Yeah, and then his first assignment, like Sam said, he's supposed to be Saturday. It's against the Tigers. And they can really hit in Comerica.
But they've been missing Escobar. Irvin Santana isn't quite where they want him. He's been having not only injuries, but control problems.
His last 2 starts have not been very good.
And you add that to the fact that they very tragically lost a young right-hander by the name of Nick Adenhart in a very tragic accident in April.
They have had their shares of bad injuries this year.
No movement on the base paths. And there is the jersey that they carry with them. And the patch they wear on the left chest, sported there by Rob Quinlan. Line to right field by Scudero. Abreu races over and pulls it down for the second out. And once again, we go down to Sam.
Well, Jamie, in that memory of Nick Adenhart, Ken Higdon is the head equipment manager for the LA Angels of Anaheim, and for every road clubhouse they visit, they actually set up a locker with Adenhart's jersey and his nameplate. So obviously not soon to be forgotten, the memory of Nick Adenhart.
Not at all. And in the home clubhouse, his locker is intact. I got a chance to go and see that when we were there in early May, and it is quite something to see. Everything exactly where Nick left it when he left the ballpark that night. And I spoke with former Blue Jay Justin Spire, who's in the bullpen. His locker's right next to Adenhart's. And that must be something to have to face every single day when you walk in there and the memory just hits you.
I can't imagine.
And so frankly, when the Angels, who many people thought would be not only perhaps division leaders, but to a degree run away with this division with the pitching and the style of play, when they got off to a bit of a slow start, they were excused for the fact that they had to endure things that most teams never have to deal with, as Thompson turns and throws, but Barajas gets back in time. Right-hander Rich Thompson in relief of Saunders. The Jays have scored 3 times in this inning, and Hill gets under a breaking ball and takes it foul. Saunders goes 5 1/3 and allows 9 hits, striking out 4. Didn't walk anybody, but to this point has given up 6 runs, and Barajas on base is also his responsibility.
Started off on fire this game. 3 up, 3 down in the first, second. Gave up a couple of hits and a run in the 3rd inning. And then it all fell apart for him in the 4th.
Ooh. Jim Reynolds behind home plate. Seems to be okay.
In the olden days, they used to have those big pads, that the home plate umpire kind of ducked behind, so there was never any problem with foul balls that the catcher missed or couldn't get to. Now you're so exposed, it was very cumbersome to have that and carry it around with you all the time. Now those arms are exposed, and it really stings when you get one off there.
Well, Hill loses the bat and loses the battle with Thompson, but the Blue Jays score 3 times on 4 hits and take a commanding 6-0 lead. In Toronto, the Blue Jays enjoy a 6-0 lead on the Los Angeles Angels. Toronto with 6 runs on 9 hits. LA has been held off the board, and they've managed just 3 singles. Roy Halliday has been dealing. He has struck out 8 and has been rarely challenged. He'll face the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Los Angeles, beginning with that man Bobby Abreu.
And he got a nice long rest in the bottom of the 6th innings. Blue Jays scored 3 runs. There was a pitching change, so let's see if he can get right back out there and find that release point that's been so good tonight.
Abreu was 0 for 2. He grounded out to first and struck out. We talked to Mark Gubizaw before the game. He describes Halliday as an east-west pitcher, meaning he can cut it in on the lefties, throw that sinker and throw it away.
Make that ball go east and west. Abreu hasn't been happy with the strike zone his last 2 at bats, but those pitches have been right there. They really have. Gubizaw was talking about he just loves watching Halliday work because he comes right at you. He is a lot like Gooby when he pitched. Big, strong strike thrower, can give you lots of innings, and he's got an out pitch. Halliday is that good cutter.
There's the 3-1 lined over the head of Scudero. Abreu leads off the 7th with a single to left. And Fast Facts are brought to you by Canada's fastest mobile network, 3 times faster than any other. Guerrero, a .334 hitter on Canadian soil. Remember all those good years he had with the Expos before signing as a free agent with the LA Angels. In fact, he won the American League MVP the year after he left Montreal. And they loved him in Montreal.
Yeah.
It was not uncommon to see Vladdy Guerrero taking the Metro to Olympic Stadium for ball games, the subway system there.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's such a free swinger. I just love watching him hit. You know, he's got that bat coiled, and then he comes out of that crouch, and a lot of times you're going to have line.
Barajas! He almost pulled it off. He did that last year.
Where he goes around?
He went around that portion of the screen. I want to say it was a game against Baltimore. Reached around the screen and made the catch, and he almost does it right here.
And you got to know your home field right there. You see him kind of grab onto that screen back there, the backstop, to kind of break his fall because he knows he's got to dive into the stands. Just a great effort right there by Rob Barajas.
2 strikes on Guerrero. Here's the pitch from Halliday. Base hit to right field. Abreu up to second, and the Angels have back-to-back singles here in the 7th inning.
Guerrero has always had great plate coverage, hasn't he?
Oh,
that ball looked like it was off the plate, and he shot it hard in the right field with 2 strikes. They wanted to stay away from him. Cutter. And he hits it hard. No chance for Aaron Hill, the second baseman, to get that one. I love watching that guy hit right there.
So here we are in the 7th, Pat, and this is really the first time that Halliday has found trouble. 2 base hits to start the inning. And Los Angeles' best hitter comes up, hitting .309, 12 home runs. Here's Torrey Hunter.
Halliday has handled him his first 2 times up for a couple of strikeouts. This is the first time the Angels have had more than 1 runner on base. So that long bottom of the 6th inning might have had a little something to do. You know, you break your sweat and, you know, you cool off. You don't have that little lather going. You just have to kind of restart the engines.
It's a no-win situation, really. You're sitting there for a while because your team's scoring a bunch of runs. They chase the starting pitcher.
Which is all good.
All good.
You know, it's not like a DH can go in and take a few hacks and kind of get a little sweat going, or maybe run up and down the steps a little bit to stay loose. As a starter, you can't. You just have to sit there. You can move around, I guess, but you can't go down there and start throwing.
Well, you might have a good point here. Ball 4 to Hunter. The bases are now loaded with nobody out in the 7th. Nobody's too concerned in the Blue Jays bullpen. Here's Kendry Morales. And first pitch is a strike. If anybody can induce the ground ball, it's number 32.
And that's what they're looking for. The infield's playing back, double play depth. You make a pitch here, you'll trade 2 outs for 1 run.
Second pitch to Morales, and it's now 0-2. A 6-0 lead Toronto, but with nobody out in the 7th, the Angels have the bases loaded. Abreu, Guerrero, and Hunter are aboard. 2 strikes on the first baseman Morales. The pitch from Halliday. Line to right, base hit. Abreu's in, it's 6-1.
Well, Kendrick got an 0-2 base hit. Abreu had a 2-strike hit, and here's another one. Just too much of the plate on the inner half to Morales. He can't finish him off. A soft line drive into right field. Still nobody out.
What an interesting turn of events here. Halliday barely broke a sweat through 6. He was striking guys out, getting the odd base hit here and there, but for the most part, not challenged at all through 6 innings. He's thrown 15 pitches here in the 7th inning and has yet to record an out. So Meiser Esteuras, the shortstop, is up next. There's the scene on the base paths, and the lead for the Blue Jays now cut to 5.
You know what makes the Angels such a tough team to match up against? They have so many switch hitting players in their lineup, and they aren't the power hitters that we've seen in the past. Usually power hitters have holes that you can pitch to their weaknesses. But because they don't have a lot of power hitters and all those switch hitters, you've got to be on your game to get them.
They have in the starting lineup tonight 4 switch hitters. Higgins at the top of the order. Morales, who just picked up the RBI single. Asturis is a switch hitter. And Gary Matthews Jr., who was in the hole here. 2 strikes again, this time on Asturis. He pushes that one down the line, and it rolls foul. Roy tonight is hoping to become the first man in the major leagues to win 9 games. First, he'll have to find his way out of the 7th inning. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and it scoots away. In comes Guerrero. It's now 6-2. Halliday uncorks the wild pitch, and it's costly.
Yeah, it gives up a run, but it also takes the double play out. Good attempt by Barajas here as he has to scramble back to the on-deck circle to get that ball. They checked to see if Asturis went around to see if it was a strikeout, but the third base umpire, Tim Welke, said no way. So the wild pitch plates the run, and it also gets the Angels out of a double play situation.
Hit in the air to right field. Rios is under it. Hunter tags, and he comes home. So now the Angels get the 3 runs back they gave up in the bottom of the 6th. And still just 1 away here in the 7th inning. Batter now is Mike Napoli. Hit well to center field in the air, but there is Wells. He pulls it down for the 2nd out. Morales tags, and a 4th run comes across.
Boy, that just some good situational hitting right there by the Angels. Single here, single there, a walk, another single, and 2 sacrifice flies have plated 4 runs. Well, you don't need the big home run to score runs, as Jesse Carlson gets up now. Just some good situational hitting, and you move that ball around. The key right there was that sacrifice fly by Asturis was deep enough to right field to plate the run and also move the runner from 2nd into 3rd with less than 2 outs.
Oh, and 1 on Matthews Jr., who has struck out twice. He struck out an inning ago and walked back to the dugout talking to himself. Halliday was that confounding through 6, and he gets another one there. 0-2 on the left fielder. Bases cleared, 2 gone. 4 runs in the 7th. The Angels have made this a ball game. And now Halliday looking for the strikeout. He won't get it on that pitch. Two and 2. 100 pitches in the book for Roy. The 2-2 to Matthews. Strike 3. 9 strikeouts. It's all fine and dandy, but he won't be happy with the 7th inning. The Angels score 4 times. Jays, who opened a 6-0 lead after 6 innings, but back come the Angels with 4 at the top of this frame.
Pitchers were pounding the strike zone early, and then the bottom of the 6th inning, Jays get 3. They knock out Saunders. And then in the top of the inning, Halliday just was not as sharp as he was through the first 6. Through 26 pitches in that inning, the Angels get right back in it with 4.
And really lends some credence to your suggestion that sitting there in the dugout watching the Blue Jays score 3 times, having to sit through a pitching change by the Angels, got him out of his rhythm. As Rios hits this one in the air, shallow left, over near the line comes Matthews Jr., and he puts it away. So maybe now an opportunity for the Blue Jays to pick up Halliday offensively. And goodness knows he could use a little good fortune after 2 outings, 1 in Baltimore and 1 in Atlanta, where he was staring straight at victory, at least in the Baltimore game. Pitched a dandy against the Braves, but the Jays couldn't score and lost a 1-0 affair.
This is where you want to get right back on it right here and just try and knock their guy out of the game. Get back into that bullpen a little bit deeper. They have the right guys coming up, the middle of the lineup.
Here's Wells facing Thompson for the first time.
We all know how the Angels can come back. We kind of touched on it earlier today. We didn't think we'd have to talk about it at the end of the game the way Halliday was thrown.
Well, they did manage to come back. They erased a big lead held by the Mariners on Sunday, scored 3 in the bottom of the 9th inning and won, and now Wells is looking at a 1-2 count. But again, the bullpen for the Angels has been a major problem. A 6 ERA. Perhaps now is the time to take advantage. 2-2. Mike Scioscia said his biggest complaint about the bullpen is twofold. One, they get behind in the count too often, and they're walking too many batters.
Yeah, there are too many walks. Those are just free passes. For the most part, when you come in off the out of the dugout, or excuse me, from the bullpen, as that ball's popped up on the left side, there are runners on base, so you better start throwing strikes.
Two gone for Adam Lind, who singled, stole a base, and scored on a single by Scott Rowland 1 inning ago. My goodness, we hear all these problems that the bullpen has had to deal with in Los Angeles, and here comes Rich Thompson in support of Joe Saunders. He walked the first man he saw and has since retired 4 straight. He's got a 1-1 count here on Adam Lind.
Curveball has been a problem for the Jays since he's come in.
Line to center field. In comes Torrey Hunter. Interesting little waggle on that ball. Made it a little more difficult for Torrey, but it goes as a 1-2-3 inning for Thompson. And after 7 innings of play, it's a 2-run lead, Toronto. Help bring a 7th NHL team to Canada.
Staying on that theme of 7, Halliday has now worked 7 innings in this game. So that marks every one of his starts this year. He has thrown at least 7 innings.
Incredible.
Only one pitcher in the American League over the last 15 years has been able to do that.
I believe that was Pedro Martinez.
That's right. At least 7 innings in his first 11 starts to a season.
Halliday with 1 complete game this year. That came in that fantastic game we watched against A.J. Burnett and the Yankees on the 12th of May. So in the top of the 8th inning, he's got 2 strikes on the second baseman, Howie Kendrick. And now 3. Strikeout number 10. That's a season high.
Well, that's better. 1, 2, 3, and good night right here. Breaking ball. Remember the last time Kendrick was up with 2 strikes, he kind of rolled one over there middle of the plate and he hit it up the middle for a base hit. That time good position, down and away with a good bite on it.
Ball 1 to the leadoff man, Sean Figgins. Roy's previous season high of strikeouts was 9 against Texas in April. It just also happened to turn out to be the only game he's lost all year.
Looks like he's got a little bit more of a purpose and a little bit more rhythm in this inning than what we saw to start the 6th. Or excuse me, the 7th. Something just didn't seem right. He wasn't able to finish off the hitters when he got ahead of them last inning.
One and two on Figgins. And a ground ball to Scudero. He eats it up and throws out Figgins. Just gets him, in fact. A stretch by Millar.
Marco Scudero gives a heads up right there to Kevin Millar. Good play on the back end of that throw. That was close. Routine play, and the ball takes off on Scudero. Watch how Millar keeps those front toes on that bag. You use that bag as an anchor and you push off on it. Stays on there to record the out.
Two down, base is empty. Bobby Abreu looks at a strike. He can't check his swing. 0-2 on Abreu. Roy faced 7 hitters in the 7th and gave up 4 runs. Trying to get a 1-2-3-8 here. The pitch on the way, and it's in the dirt, ball 1.
Crowd doesn't like it, but I think that's the right call by home plate umpire Jim Reynolds. This one was just off the dish. You see how Barajas has to reach for it just a little bit. This one will tell. That is off the plate. Good call.
2-2. Here's Halliday, and there's ball 3. And the payoff. So they'll try again.
We were talking about a season high in strikeouts. Halliday getting close to his high in pitches.
There's a big one. 11 strikeouts through 8 innings. What an effort from Duck. throwing that right arm. And Cito comes over for a word. What do you think, Roy? Can you go out there one more time?
You can see Cito's letting him make the decision. I think Cito's kind of gauging the confidence, how he feels. He's asking him, how's your legs feel? How's your arms feel? Do you think you can get one more? We'll see.
Well, if you leave it up to Roy, I doubt he's going to say, can't do it, Skip.
Well, there's a couple of right-handers coming up to start the ninth inning, Guerrero and Hunter.
Here's a fly ball to right field, hit well by Roland, but a leaping grab made by Abreu at the track. As Jason Bulger, who may right now be the best reliever the Angels have.
Yeah, he got off to a rocky start. His first start was not very good, or his first appearance, but since then, he has not allowed a run in 10 of his last 11 appearances. In his past 13 and third inning, he's allowed a run on 7 hits while striking out 12. He's got a great arm. And he says it's not so much of a physical change. It's been more of a mental change, an attitude change, saying, you know what, I need to trust my stuff a little bit more. Pitching coach Mike Butcher and manager Mike Scioscia pulled him off to the side and talked to him and say, look, your stuff is good. You can get big league hitters out. That fastball right there, 94 miles an hour. Challenge them. You don't have to be perfect. Just throw me some strikes. Come out of that bullpen with a good positive attitude, and good things are going to happen.
He had a great year in AAA last year with the affiliate in Salt Lake City. 2-0, the count to Millar. And it's slapped to third, charged by Figgins. He double clutches but throws out Millar anyway. Bulger finished 4-0 last season. His ERA a minuscule .63, and he saved 16 games.
Just another one of those big, strong, hard-throwing relievers that we have seen the Angels develop over the last few years. Remember Bobby Jenks came up through the Angels organization, who's turned into a pretty good closer. Francisco Rodriguez, who's now with the Mets, came up through their minor league farm system.
We should note that Roy Halladay, with that strikeout of Abreu to end the top of the 8th inning, has tied his single game high. He has now struck out 11 in one game for just the second time in his career. You go back to a game against Baltimore in September of 2001. That is the last time prior to tonight that Halliday has struck out 11 in one game. Someone tells me he's going to get a chance at 12. The 0-2 in the dirt. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Rod Barajas. 2 gone in the 8th inning. And Rod gets a piece. The surest indication that Halliday is coming back is a quick glance into the bullpen. Shows nobody wearing a uniform and throwing the odd pitch, getting ready to come in.
Nobody up and throwing.
They've got the sweat tops on. Bulger trying to get Barajas here and get his team back up at the plate. But Barajas fights off another one.
Making it tough. Trying that fastball on the inner half, on the outer half. Rod has had a nice night, a couple of hits and the run scored.
.6'4", 210. Bulger out of Lawrenceville, Georgia. Tries again on Barajas, and he gets him with the breaking ball. A strikeout there and a 1-2 3/8 means Roy Halladay is not finished. His team leads by 2, and he will come out to face the Angels in the 9th. Jim Lang and Mike Toth have Sportsnet connected. Game 3 underway from Pittsburgh in the Stanley Cup final between the Penguins and the Red Wings. And if you're up for scoreboard watching, both the Red Sox and the Yankees are leading their respective games right now, so they'll fill you in on final scores there. Well, Roy Halladay has come out for the 9th inning. This is not necessarily a surprise. He's thrown 116 pitches, and that's quite high. But after what transpired in Baltimore on Wednesday, hey, why not leave it up to Doc to try and get it done here tonight against the Angels?
Well, he's brought you this far, and I think he deserves a chance to finish it. If he gets into any problems, then you can use your bullpen if you need to.
Two quick strikes on Vladimir Guerrero. And he fights that one off into the seats. Defensively, Lyle Overbay comes in and replaces Kevin Millar at first. Overbay well off the line at first.
And he is almost playing straightaway second base.
And Guerrero chases it and strikes out. 1 out, 9th inning. And that is 12 strikeouts for Roy Halladay, a new single game high. Congratulations to Roy. Commentator clothing is provided in part by Z Zenya. Statistical information provided by Stats Inc. And the stats tell you that Roy has never struck out 12 in a game until tonight.
And he gets Guerrero on a check swing. Barajas has done a good job tonight of burying those balls in the dirt like that, keeping it in front of you. You know, you can take those pitch counts, I think, and just throw them out the window. What you're looking at is, does he still have enough on his fastball? I think he does. You saw that 2-strike pitch by Guerrero, kind of a half swing. He still tied him up, still had enough on his fastball. Look at that.
Boy, that's indecision.
Still great movement, still good location.
He really crossed up Torrey Hunter on that one. Pitch is outside 2-1.
You know, back in the olden days, they would come out to talk to the pitcher in tight situations, and instead of going to the pitcher, the catcher would come out, there's a good breaking ball, and say, how's his stuff? Does he still have life on his fastball? how's his breaking ball? They would go and talk to the catcher and ask him. And if he said, hey, his stuff still is good, they'd leave him in.
2-2. Here's the pitch from Doc. And he got him. Strikeout number 13.
He certainly does have enough left in the tank. It looked like Torrey Hunter was looking for that breaking ball, and Halliday just freezes him with a cutter. Barajas wanted it inside. They wanted to backdoor that cutter, and it just freezes Hunter.
A career high 13 strikeouts. More importantly for Halliday, one more out away from victory number 9. Strike one on Morales. Little bump in the road in this game. 7th inning, he gave up 4 runs, but came back with a clean 8th. Has the first 2 out in the 9th here. The 0-1 pitch on the way, slashed to left field and dying quickly. Bautista watches it drop, and Morales has a 2-out base hit.
We looked at some of the numbers from Halliday in his career. He has had 65 no decisions in his very good career. 32 of them are blown saves by the bullpen. So you know he wants to finish this one off. Lyle Overbay goes in and tells Halliday he's going to play behind the runner. That run doesn't mean anything. It's the guy at the plate. There's Overbay playing behind Morales.
The batter is Meiser Estouras, and it's ball 1. Tying run is at the plate. Here's the pitch, strike 1. That evens the count. Estouras tonight with a base hit in the 5th. He drove in a run in the 7th with a sacrifice fly. Morales at first. He's not held on. Here's the 1-1 pitch off the plate. Halliday's lone complete game this year came against the Yankees here at Rogers Center May the 12th. Gave up just a single run on 5 hits and defeated A.J. Burnett. That evens the count, 2-2. Here's the man to get, because heavy hitting Mike Napoli is on deck for the Angels. 2 strikes and the pitch. It goes for ball 3, and Morales takes second on the play.
This one just off the plate. Strike 2 was right on the corner. This one was just off the plate. .132 pitches. Here's the latest, and that one ends the ball game. Roy Halladay, a complete game victory over the Angels. You have earned the rest, big man. 42nd career complete game for Halliday, a career high in strikeouts. Yeah, he had enough in the tank. He strikes out the side in the 9th inning. This time a curveball, 3-2, freezes Estouras. What a night.
A career high 14 strikeouts.